it and got to like the third case, and then my computer froze and restarted. But here's round 2. I'll send you the other link. I'll upload the other video to YouTube so you can see. But so far, for segment 1, I said that it was about this article, sexual abuse, and I said that I would tell the therapist that I am not an expert in sexual abuse of students in that scenario, and that it's not my area of expertise, so I can't really give the therapist advice on it. For number 2, it was one-on-one, and the therapist asked in front of the deaf person while I'm in the middle of interpreting, while the deaf person and the receptionist is finding a workable time for the deaf person for the next appointment. The therapist comes to me and asks if they can talk in private for a few minutes, and I said that it's legally, I have to be here for the deaf person, and that if it's related to the deaf person, then they can feel free to ask me questions in front of the deaf person, but my first priority is the deaf person, basically. Number 3 is the ongoing group session where people come in, old people leave, new people enter the group. My colleague couldn't interpret because of a car accident. She called the referral agency. They're not able to locate a replacement. I contacted the agency and confirmed that they don't have anyone available in short notice. And I said that I would go ahead and interpret, because the deaf person, this is group therapy session, is required of the deaf person to attend, and that I have to provide equal access. I can't jump in and say, oh, we have to reschedule your appointment because I don't have my colleague, my colleague can't make it, and we don't have a replacement interpreter for my colleague, because that wouldn't be fair to the deaf person. And if I don't know how group therapy sessions work, but if there was like a break, like if it's an hour long and at a 30-minute break, or a 30-minute line, they take a break, then maybe I can say, excuse me, or inform the deaf person that I need to make a quick call, and then contact the agency to see if they're able to find it, but continue interpreting just because the deaf person is important. Okay, segment number 4. Now that we're all caught up. You decide that you really have no other viable option than to explain the situation to the therapist and let him to determine whether or not to proceed under the circumstances. He tells you that this is a critical juncture in the deaf person's therapeutic program, and insists that the session go on as scheduled. During the session, you schedule a few times, particularly at some of the graphic fantasies described by a couple of the members of the group. Nevertheless, you leave the session feeling that under the circumstances, the deaf person was not disadvantaged, and apart from your own uneasiness at working the session alone, you feel that the session was generally quite successful. However, you begin to realize that this ongoing assignment is beginning to affect you emotionally. You are definitely not looking forward to the group session next week, especially after the graphic descriptions you interpreted this week. What would you do and why? Well, I think maybe I would contact the agency to let them know of my concerns and let the deaf person know of my concerns and what I'm struggling with, and to make sure if it's okay with the deaf person that I contact my agency and possibly accuse myself, or remove myself, that's the word I'm looking for. But at the same time, I feel like if another interpreter comes in and replaces me, and that interpreter has the same problems as me, and they keep changing interpreters for this person, I don't think it would be fair for the deaf person to have to see a new interpreter, especially like if it's an intimate thing like this. Like, sexual abuse. So I think what I would do is that before I make any drastic changes, I would continue and do one more group session just to see how the second group session goes. And if I'm still struggling, then I would do the whole I need to remove myself because I'm having issues. I could and ask or possibly see if another interpreter can come in into that place. Okay, segment number 5. A few days later, a friend of yours asks you to interpret for a Cub Scout den meeting. Your friend's deaf son and another deaf boy belong to the Cub Scout den, based at the local school they attend. However, they want to attend the upcoming Regional Scouting Camporee, Scouting Olympics, that will take place over an upcoming long holiday weekend. You have been asked to interpret the organizational meeting, and because it is for your friend, you agree to do so on a pro bono basis. When you arrive, there are approximately 50 Cub Scouts and their parents, mostly fathers, at the meeting. As you are waiting for your friend and his son to arrive, you notice of the men there looks familiar. After a short time, you realize that he is one of the men from the group counseling sessions. You remember him quite clearly because of his graphic descriptions of his sexual fantasies, almost all of which involved young boys. Seriously, Angie? Why do you have to do this stuff? No, I don't... Ethically, I'd have to recruit myself, but then the deaf kids don't have access. So, do I just keep an extra eye? I mean, I can't just last minute cancel on these people because I told them I would do it and we're already at the event. Okay. Technically, the group session is confidential. Can't talk about it. Can't go up to that father saying, hey, you're not supposed to be here because of your group sessions. Like, I can't do that because that's not my place. What I feel like I could do is make sure that the 2 kids that I'm with are taken care of. And, I mean, I could keep a special eye out on the other kids, but at the same time, what happens in the group with the therapist is confidential. Like, that's doctor-patient confidentiality, and I can't bring that work into... Like, I can't bring work A and work B together because they're separate. So, I also can't back out because what are these kids going to do? Like, they can't... They've been looking forward to this, so I'd have to keep it separate. I can't tell the parents because I'd be breaking confidentiality from the group sessions, and especially that would break confidentiality with the deaf client that I'm with. So I can't approach this man at all. Like, that's a big no-no. No. And no. Okay, let's move on to segment 6. That's just a big no. Finally, a friend and his son arrive, and after a few minutes, the meeting starts. The leader, after reviewing the tentative schedule, then asks for volunteers for various tasks, including driving overnight supervisions and competition judging. As fathers begin to volunteer for various tasks, the man you recognize from the counseling session volunteers to drive and to be one of the 2 overnight supervisors. The leader thanks him and then announces that no more volunteers are needed. What do you do and why? Are you... Wait, so I didn't volunteer? Like, what was I thinking? Like, I should have volunteered. Can I... Okay, so if there are no more volunteers needed, can't I'll raise my hand and say, hey, you have deaf participants. I need to be there for equal access communication. Like, wouldn't that be... I think that would be okay to say... But at the same time, I can't let work number A and work number B, or group A, work A, and group B interfere. Like, I still have to keep it separate. Shit. This is wrong. This is just so wrong in so many levels. Like, personally, more ethically, I can't, as an interpreter, I have to make sure that there's equal access for the deaf kids, and I feel so cold-hearted for saying this, but those deaf kids matter. They need equal communication and access, equal access to communication. So I would have to inform the group leader that I have to be able to attend these overnight supervisions for, you know, if the deaf kids are going to be there, I have to be there too, and I would need a schedule of the thing so I can be with the deaf kids, I guess. And that's my 15 minutes. And I'll send you the other link too. I think that's about 40 minutes now.